which is out of Newark, Zanesville. They are the best in the world at what they do, electrical work. They are absolutely hands down, far and away the best in the world at what they do, because they push you and they push you and they push you and they do everything they can do to break you. And they make you fucking go, 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 you know? And that's just the way they are, because they want to weed out the guys that can't make it, the guys that can't survive, the guys that bring their feelings to work, the guys that aren't motivated enough to say, fuck it. I'm going to deal with all this shit because 5 years from now, I'm going to be the motherfucker telling people what to do. And it's all going to be worth it. And I'm going to be making more money than most people out there that have a 2-year degree. And more than a lot of people that even have a 4-year degree. You know, those are the people they're trying to weed out, are the ones that can't remind themselves that it's all worth it in the end. Because they want to know that if you did make it, it's not because you got lucky. It's because you earned it. Because you stuck it out, and that made you who you were. So just keep in mind, if you do decide to get into something like that, man, don't ever take anything anybody says or does to you personal. I mean, unless you really fuck up. But if you really fuck up, the best thing to do is say, I'm sorry, man, I fucked up. And then just let it go at that. Move on. Don't take it home with you when you leave. I fuck up. I have to look. You know, I was cutting a piece of pipe one day, and there was a fitting, and I was supposed to, all I had to do was just re-drill a hole, and instead, I actually drilled the hole where it's supposed to be, and then I took the pipe cutter and cut that piece, and I was supposed to go down 2 feet from there and actually make my cut, and I looked at what I did, I was like, and I looked down at my journeyman, and I'm like, Joe, I just fucked up. And luckily, he was cool. He's like, what the fuck did you do? I'm like, I don't even know, man. I was like, fucking just looking at it, and for some reason, I thought cut it, and then I cut it, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was fucking daydreaming, thinking about what I was gonna do when I got home today. He's like, oh, fuck. It's like, it's all right. I got a plan, and he figured out. He gave me another piece of pipe. He said, line this up. Put a couple lines, recut it, put this in there, put a couple on each side, stick it back together, you're good. I'm like, all right. He was cool about it. We moved on. You know, never spoke of it again after that. You know, and you'll get guys like that too that are cool as shit. You can fuck up and they'll let it go because they understand how hard it can be sometimes to be a new guy out there. You know. But I just want you to know, and something you don't want to do, that's cool, man. But if you do get into it, just understand that if you get with a really cool boss or a really cool journeyman for a few months, don't ever get too used to things being the way they are. Show up to work every day with the mentality that it could be a shitty ass day. Don't think negatively like, oh, fuck this, today's gonna fucking suck. But just always keep that in the back of your mind. Like, don't ever show up to work like, oh, today's gonna be a great day, because when you think that way, a lot of times something shitty happens just because. Just hope for the best, but expect the worst. But not in a pessimistic, negative way. Just be prepared for anything. In the end, buddy, it really would be all worth it. Go home and do some research. I mean, look up ironworkers, unions, and watch some YouTube videos and see what they do. And look up the plumbers and pipe fitters unions, and then the electricians apprenticeships. And just remember, no matter what you see, when you happen to see some pictures of blueprints or a bunch of shit going up all over the place and 1,000 wires getting pulled through freaking cable trays and shit that looks super, like, crazy overwhelming, don't even think like that. Because as a new guy, no one expects you to understand what any of that shit is.
Holly, I wouldn't do it.
That's why they give you so many years in those apprenticeships, because once you're around it every day, it kind of becomes just like everyday life, Kind of like what you're doing now. You showed up at Giant Eagle, your first day, you're probably like, I don't know what the fuck they want me to do, But after a few weeks or a month or whatever, somebody walks in, you can probably be like, yeah, aisle 3, fucking 3 rows down on the bottom left, right by the ketchup, blah, 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 And that's kind of the same way. It just takes a lot longer to get to that point. But yeah, man, a few years goes by and you'll be like, shit, yeah, this there. And then one day when you slow down, you'll be like, fuck, I remember when I looked at this and I was so fucking overwhelmed. I thought, oh, I'm never gonna learn all this shit. I'm never gonna understand what all this does and where it comes from and where it goes. But you do. So, and I'm not against anybody going to college, man, but I just, you know, I worry. Desi went for nursing, and I don't know how you feel about working in the medical field, if that's anything you'd want to do, but I know for me, I'm disgusted by people's fucking blood, puke, shit, mucus, vomit. There's a lot of nasty shit. Really, really is. I mean, you gotta have a strong stomach. And she got lucky because she went and worked out at that center where, you know, me, her, and Corey worked. Corey's the only one that's still there out of us three. But she didn't actually have to deal with a lot of blood and nasty shit and infections. You know, she was more of a, you know, pencil pusher, more or less. But that's a 4-year degree, and that takes a lot of money, and that racks up a lot of student loan debt. And that's another one that if you don't complete it, say you get 3 years into your schooling and you decide you don't want to be a nurse. Well, now you got all that
You
student
can
loan.
come home with me. I gotta grab my
I
milk.
just think for your sake, buddy, being young, being right out of high school, rather than trying to jump right into a, you know, a college program, I think you should try out, at least try an apprenticeship, you know, because it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, when you first start, they want your first 3 months worth of dues up front before they let you go to work because, you know, here in Ohio, they've really cracked down on that because you have a lot of people that have bailed out, skipped out on paying their dues, and they, you know, and you, yeah, they're there somewhere. They were, oh, they're right here. And, you know, you might have to pay for a little bit for your, what, I paid $300 for my first year of schooling, but I just paid, part of it to cover half the year for now. Other than that, man, you really have no money out of pocket. You have no debt. You literally get to go straight to work and start getting paid, and you get raises, you know, on a regular basis. So
It's more from like probably just being on my feet a lot.
I'll show you more dancers. Just give me a break, child. Competitions. Kids how to dance. Sprinkler. And the garden hose.
Oh, we should have did the fishing one.
Oh, yes. We forgot the fishing pool. That's good, man.